Summer food program on the chopping block.
We're not talking about somebody that's trying to rob a bank or something.
Why the governor wants it gone and the impact it could have on hundreds of thousands of Tennessee children.
A changing of the guard at Tennessee State University, the financial mountain to climb as the interim president steps down after only 120 days on the job.
Plus, ripping off Boy Scouts, the big hit to one troop's only fundraiser of the year after some Grinches target their Christmas tree lot. Fox 17 News starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
We begin tonight with breaking news as Nashville firefighters are on the scene of a house fire in the Wykes Creek area just north of Briley Parkway. Take a look. Fire department says they found one person inside the home. You can see the damage to the roof. They pulled the person out safely. That person able to be revived on the scene by medics with the fire department. They're in critical condition right now at this hour, though. Fire crews remain on the scene. Fox 17 has a crew en route to the fire and hopes to bring you additional information and more live pictures in minutes.
When school is out, you know, some kids don't get to eat.
Covering the Capitol tonight, Tennessee families and others are calling on Governor Lee to renew the summer EBT program. That's the federal program administered by the state that helps feed hundreds of thousands of Tennessee children. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us live from the Capitol with the struggles families are going through and why the state wants to end the program.
Megan, the deadline for the Summer Food Assistance Program is quickly approaching. According to state data, around 650,000 children right here in Tennessee would be impacted if it's not renewed. Families are pleading with Governor Lee for change as the state weighs the cost. Sarah Rice takes care of her grandson, Jaden Rice, and Timonte Rowland.
I'm glad that she had took me in.
Relying on food assistance from the federal government so their fridge is not empty. Her grandchildren use a summer EBT program. It's designed for low-income families, offering $40 a child a month, $120 total.
Because when school is out, you know, some kids don't get to eat.
The renewal deadline for the program is coming up on January the 1st, but Governor Bill Lee doesn't want to do it.
We're not talking about somebody that's trying to rob a bank or something. We're talking about people that's trying to feed their kids.
Signe Anderson with the Tennessee Justice Center is asking parents to send letters to the governor, pleading with him to renew the program for 2025. She says they are up to 800 letters.
The governor seems pretty dead set. Do you think those letters will make a difference?
I hope they do.
She says the money, although not much, helps.
These are children who want to have a normal summer like the rest of their peers.
We asked the governor why not renew the program if it's using federal money and not taxpayer money. His spokesperson says the state would have to pick up the tab for administrative costs totaling close to $4 million. The governor's office adds there are programs already available for assistance, but for Rice, those programs are not enough to feed a hungry family.
They're affecting a whole bunch of people, not just me and mine.
Rice tells me administrative costs aren't a reason to deny children funds to get groceries. She tells me that she doesn't know what she'll do if the program is not renewed. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, in tonight's Fox 17 News viewer poll, we want to know what you think. Should Tennessee continue to fund the summer EBT food assistance program? The results here on your screen. Almost 200 people weighing in tonight. 57.8% of voters say yes, 42.2% say no. This poll live right now. To cast your vote, you can scan the QR code that's there on your screen. It will take you over to our X page. Cast your vote, and we'll take another look at these numbers for you tonight on Fox 17 News at 10.
New tonight, a new interim president at Tennessee State University. The board appointed TSU alumnus and former board member Dwayne Tucker at a specially called meeting earlier today. As Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller shows us, he replaces interim president Ronald Johnson, who resigned this week after only 4 months on the job.
Most of the TSU board members say that they were surprised when former TSU interim president Ronald Johnson resigned out of nowhere. They say now with the new interim president that they can finally start focusing on tackling some of the financial issues that they've been dealing with.
It is with great honor and enthusiasm that I am nominating and recommending the appointment of Dwayne Tucker to serve as interim president of TSU.
In Friday's special called virtual meeting, former board member Dwayne Tucker became interim president of TSU.
He has graciously agreed to take on this very challenging role without receiving any compensation.
TSU Board of Trustees Chair Dakasha Winton says this is what dedication and commitment looks like, because she says it is going to be a very difficult job after all the financial difficulties and turnover that TSU has been dealing with.
My goal as we close out 2024 is to meet with as many of those stakeholders as we can, including community influences across Nashville.
The federal government and state auditors say TSU is owed more than $2 billion in backed state funding. Governor Bill Lee has given TSU $250 million towards that number. We did reach out to Governor Lee's office to see if he will give the school more funding in the near future, but we haven't heard back yet. And some state lawmakers are calling on the state to make this right.
What the university needs now from the state is a commitment financially to sustain the university during this difficult time. It is still a state institution.
And TSU alumnus and former Metro Council member at large, Dr. Carolyn Baldwin Tucker, adds a key part to TSU's financial stability is student enrollment.
Student enrollment is the driving force of the university, of any university. And if you don't have students, you don't have the income and the funding that you need.
Board members say that they're happy to have a new interim president that they have close ties with. But moving forward, they are still searching for a full-time president. Reporting from North Nashville, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Continuing our coverage of Tennessee State, the board's appointment today, just the latest chapter in a story of controversy at this university that dates back to the 1950s.
The past decade at TSU reads like a Charles Dickens novel. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Dr. Glenda Glover began serving as president at the beginning of 2013. Enrollment was just over 8,000.
We have an extensive campaign to recruit students with a 3.0 or higher.
Her goals included recruiting students and financial support. By 2017, the university had more students than dorm rooms. The problem would become a crisis. In 2022, TSU had 2,000 incoming freshmen. Many of them promised scholarships.
Well, hotels are being used to meet the needs of our students that we can't house on campus, but we are housing our students.
That same year, the state legislature gave TSU $250 million to help make up for not properly sharing federal land grant dollars dating back 60 years.
We have made a historic investment in Tennessee State University.
But the following year, state auditors blasted TSU leaders for how they managed that money. The comptroller said the housing crisis was largely of TSU's making. Too many scholarships. Lawmakers weren't happy. TSU leaders under pressure. In April of this year, the legislature vacated TSU's entire board of directors. University President Glenda Glover announced her retirement in August. 2 months later, the university announced more than 100 staffers had been laid off. And just last month, the legislature made it clear that was just the beginning.
You can see more of our stories on the continued struggles at Tennessee State on the Fox Nashville YouTube channel, where you can subscribe to see, or should say subscribe to be among the first to see stories like this.
In Operation Crime and Justice, looking for a Grinch that stole from the Boy Scouts. Leaders of Troop 197 in Murfreesboro say someone disabled the security cameras and took 98 trees right off their Christmas tree lot. Now the group is trying to salvage their fundraising efforts for the season. For nearly 20 years, Boy Scout Troop 197 runs this pop-up Christmas tree farm in front of Fellowship United Methodist Church in Murfreesboro. This year, the haul is North Carolina Fraser firs.
Now I'm gonna get my uniform all sticky.
Some of the trees tower over Scouts and customers. Not exactly an easy lift. To bundle and load, wrap, strap, and fasten it to your vehicle, it's gotta be a 10 to 15 minute task per tree. So how in the world did someone manage to steal almost 100 of these trees after hours right off the lot? There's obvious speculation whoever it was didn't act alone, and tried to cover their tracks, disabling the security cameras to work under the radar. When Troop 197 heard what happened, they were crushed.
It was pretty demoralizing Monday night when we really discovered what was going on. We called the authorities, and the adults were pretty down about it, and we told the boys, and they were pretty down about it. They've put in a lot of hard work this year on this lot.
In fact, the Christmas tree lot is Troop 197's only fundraiser of the year. Money raised covers Scouts' annual high-adventure camping trip. But now, with a big dent in inventory, they're trying to figure out how to make up for the loss. It didn't take long for word to get out, and living in the South, you can guess what happened next.
We heard about this. I stopped by earlier and I found out what was going on, and I went home. My wife's like, go back there and you help the Scouts. And I said, all right. So I just I felt like it was necessary.
With about 100 trees left on the lot to sell, if those driving by aren't buying one, they're stopping to donate to the Scouts. Troop 197 living out their values and seeing for themselves all the good they put into the community finds its way back to them.
We may have to do another fundraiser this year. We're not sure yet. We're hoping to sell through the trees we have. That would be a great help.
Well, the Scouts just wrapped up for the night about an hour ago and will be back out at their Christmas tree lot this weekend, starting tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. in front of Fellowship United Methodist Church off New Salem Highway in Murfreesboro.
All right, let's talk about the weather. It really didn't rain today, although it was gloomy, and you can't help but wonder what's ahead.
It's coming. I feel like it's coming.
Yeah, today was kind of the precursor to what we could expect going into tomorrow. It's not going to be raining, though, by tomorrow morning, so we've got a little bit of time before that next rain chance comes in. Here's a look at our weather headlines going into the weekend. We are tracking some showers here. I do think that we are looking at dry weather through Saturday, we'll say lunchtime, before things will start to turn rainy for us across much of the area. Mild weather otherwise. Temperatures look to be around 60 for tomorrow. And we'll talk too about the next cool down that is on the way. Live look downtown on Broadway was a busy night Friday evening here, and temperatures feeling a little on the chilly side. Now at 45 degrees with a mostly cloudy sky. As we continue through the evening hours, we will find this cloud cover to hang with us. We've got the next storm system on the way here, tracking through portions of Kansas and Oklahoma that will march in by midday on Saturday. So low temperatures tonight drop back into the upper 30s area wide, mid 30s up towards the Kentucky-Tennessee border. When does the rain arrive on Saturday? Generally between 12 and 3, and it may start light with better rain developing later than this even, but between 2 and 5 first raindrops expected in Nashville, and then out towards Cookeville between 4 and 7 p.m. we can expect those first showers. We'll walk you through future track. We'll talk about how the weather is trending too as we get closer to Christmas Day. That in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast. Megan.
Well, a blinding problem. What caused the concern in the mid-state skies and how Metro Police are responding?
And a career-ending mistake for an embattled former Mid-State Police chief, while Laverne's former chief will have to find a new profession.
In Operation Crime and Justice, Metro Police charging a Goodlettsville teenager with pointing a green laser at a commercial airplane and a police helicopter sent to investigate.
Now, you can see in the video how that would make it difficult for the folks up in the air to navigate. You see the green laser in the picture from the ground. They traced that laser back to the man you see on the screen, 18-year-old Destin Wyndham. He's charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault on a first responder.
Continuing with Operation Crime and Justice, the former Laverne police chief, who was fired after his involvement in a sex scandal, is stripped of the ability to serve as a cop anywhere in the state of Tennessee. A state commission board voting to decertify Officer Burrell Davis following a hearing last night. Davis and several other officers were fired from the Laverne Police Department after an investigation found officers having sex while on duty and sharing intimate photos of a fellow officer, female officer Megan Hall. Davis says the pictures were sent between 2 friends on personal phones, and he says his text messages were taken out of context and used against him in this case.
It's Your Money, and our partners at OpenTheBooks.com suggest the $1 million that Nashville city leaders have recently earmarked to establish a new Office of Youth Safety and a Restorative Justice program at the Napier Community Center in South Nashville will be money well spent. Here's why. There's been an upward trend of violence aimed at minors in recent years. 57 Nashville teenagers were gunshot victims last year. This year, the number's up to 64, and of course, the year's not over. More than 11% of all gunshot victims in Nashville year to date have been minors. And records show city leaders have been targeting this trend.
You have the Mayor's Office of Community Safety. They do violence intervention and prevention. They have $3 million budgeted. Metro Office of Family Safety, they're getting $5 million. They've got those violence prevention programs. Metropolitan Action Commission, they have a youth grant for youth work opportunities.
Open the Book says city records show the number of gunshot victims under 18 here in Nashville have gone up every one of the last 5 years.
In your health news tonight, an alarming increase in the number of young adults being diagnosed with colon cancer, and not just in the U.S., but globally. Fox 17 News' Amanda Chin takes a closer look at the new research and has 4 warning signs to watch out for.
In the U.S., health officials have been tracking a rise in early onset colon cancer cases. But a new study from the American Cancer Society shows it's not just young Americans who are being increasingly diagnosed with this disease.
Out of the 50 countries, about 27 of them actually were seeing the same trend of increase in early onset colorectal cancer.
Researchers mainly looked at highly developed economic countries for the study. And while the rise was noted in more than half the countries studied, it's still unclear what's behind the increase.
There seems to be a correlation with increased wealth, and we think that's likely related to exposure to poor dietary habits or sedentary lifestyle. But there's not a one-to-one correlation.
Another study by the National Cancer Institute shows 4 signs common in people who go on to develop colon cancer: diarrhea, rectal bleeding, abdominal pain, and iron deficiency anemia. The agency says just having one of these signs is linked to nearly twice the likelihood of being diagnosed with early onset colorectal cancer.
We do know there's more genetic risk in younger patients. We do know a correlation between obesity, metabolic changes, and colorectal cancer. But for an individual patient, we're not actually sure what often triggers this.
I'm Amanda Chin reporting for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
But weather-wise, not a washout this weekend, but not great and sunny and warm either.
No, well, it's not going to be sunny, we'll say that. It'll be a little on the mild side for us, which is good news. But the rain looks to arrive later in the afternoon. So if you have plans in the morning,
you get something in, like the festival in Franklin or the Gallatin Christmas parade.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so we will have some dry times during the weekend, but I think as we get later in the day on Saturday, we've got the rain. And in addition to that, it's around for Sunday, too. We start off with a look here at 3 things that you need to know for the weekend. Those showers, a lot of them are going to be after 3 o'clock. So Saturday is definitely your day of the 2. As we get into Sunday, off and on showers will be around and should be relatively light. Now for Saturday, we are expecting breezy winds anywhere between 10 to 20 miles per hour with gusts as high as 25. But overall throughout the weekend, the good news is no severe weather is expected. So the planner here, as we go through the evening hours, temperatures for the afternoon overall will be in those upper 50s, close to 60 degrees, but we'll see an increased chance for showers throughout the late afternoon. Rain showers around off and on throughout the day. That looks a little intimidating, but it won't be raining all day. We're just going to have that chance for showers through the parts of day, morning, afternoon, and night. Big setup for us here, showing a lot of moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico and a cold front associated with it that will bring us the rain. So let's walk you through future track as we head through tomorrow. This is 12 noon, knocking on the doorstep here of Middle Tennessee. But as I mentioned, it will likely start relatively light with a little bit better chance of some heavier pockets as we get later into the evening hours. Here's 5 p.m. right along the I-65 corridor. We've got some of those showers starting to pop up, and then a little bit more intense rainfall as we head towards 10 p.m. Again, we're not anticipating severe weather, but a few moderate to heavy pockets will be possible, and I'd say a gust of wind or two as the front comes through, and that'll be what we see here. That will continue as we head through early Sunday morning with scattered showers around for the morning, the afternoon, and the early evening hours as well. Again, relatively light, so you'll still be able to be out doing things. You'll just want to make sure that you have those rain plans in place as you head through the afternoon on Sunday. Monday morning, still looking at a few showers possible. Another system on the heels of the one this weekend will be coming in for Monday afternoon and Monday evening into early Tuesday morning. So we've got a pretty unsettled pattern ahead. As far as rainfall goes for the weekend, so this takes us up until Monday morning. Generally looking at 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of rain. We could find some higher amounts, closer to 1, 2 for Paris, I think is a little on the high side, but a couple pockets, especially as we get more into West Tennessee, closer to 1.5 inches is possible. But notice the trend here showing where more of the heavy rain is going to be, and that is going to be west of I-65. Still a good, decent rain for us as we head through Saturday and Sunday. We'll walk you through temperatures, how it's looking for Saturday, and more on our forecast as we get a little closer to the Christmas holiday. That's coming up.
State and federal officials push back on the White House downplaying numerous potential drone sightings. I'm Matt Gelka in Washington, and I'll have the latest coming up.
Top concerns among Tennesseans, the issues voters say matters the most to them in a brand new Vanderbilt poll.
Update now on our top story. Breaking news as Nashville firefighters are on the scene of a house fire in the Whites Creek area just north of Briley Parkway. We've got a crew on the scene here, and this is a live look. It appears that firefighters have things pretty well under control. You see firefighters there gathered under the trees right in front of the house, where at least one person was found unresponsive and pulled to safety. That person revived on the scene by medics. The fire department says that they were taken to the hospital. You can see the house there. This is at least a 2-level house or a split-level house. In an earlier piece of video we had from the fire department on the right-hand side of the screen behind the trees, you could see a part of the roof that had burned away by the flames. And again, this is a fairly serious amount of damage and one person injured in this house fire. We are maintaining our presence at the scene, trying to get some additional information for you, and we'll give you further updates as we get them throughout the newscast and, of course, online at fox17.com.
Well, mysterious drone sightings on the East Coast have residents concerned and state and federal officials demanding answers. Fox 17 News' Matt Gelka has the latest tonight. And to let us know what you think, you can scan the QR code that will appear here shortly on your screen during this story.
The White House's response to the growing number of reports of drones in the New Jersey and New York City area is getting major pushback from state and federal officials. National Security spokesman John Kirby said they could not corroborate the visual sightings and that there was no known security threat. A joint FBI and Homeland Security statement said the same.
Upon review of available imagery, it appears that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft that are being operated lawfully.
Kirby's statement didn't sit well with some local officials on the ground.
And the weight of these things, if they somehow malfunction and lost their power and they come down, if they weigh 50 pounds and they're falling from 300 feet, that's not going to be good for whoever's underneath of it. So I really think Mr. Kirby's statement today was pretty stupid.
Millions of people around here are getting nothing but don't believe what you see.
New Jersey Democratic Senator-elect Andy Kim posted video on X saying he went out with law enforcement Thursday night to observe the skies. Also writing, it's hard to understand how, with the technology we have, we aren't able to track these devices to determine origin.
That's really convincing.
The push for answers is bipartisan.
Just be straight with us. Tell us what it is.
They should be shot down if necessary.
But there are skeptics. Mick West analyzes unidentified aerial phenomena, and he's not convinced the sightings amount to anything more than hysteria right now.
Most of what people are posting online are actually planes, and we've been able to verify that by whenever someone puts up a video with enough information, if they put up the date, time, location, and the direction they're facing, we're able to correlate that with the tracks of the planes and figure out which one it is.
House Speaker Mike Johnson reportedly received a classified briefing on the drone sightings, and House and Senate staffers also got updates as more sightings continue to pop up in other states. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
During that story, we had a QR code on screen linking our viewers with a poll asking if they think the government should shoot down unidentified drones so they can determine the origin. We've got 634 people weighing in, and so this is something folks are interested in. And the vast majority, more than 94%, say yes, I think we should shut them down or shoot them down. We want to thank you all for taking time to vote.
Struggling to keep employees, how Rutherford County leaders plan to make some changes to improve hiring and retention.
A highly anticipated Inspector General report regarding the FBI and who they did and did not have on the ground on January 6th released. I'm Kayla Gaskins with those details straight ahead.
In Rutherford County tonight, a new push to give county employees raises so they essentially don't go to work in neighboring counties.
Rutherford County leaders have been trying to bring salaries to competitive levels for the last 3 years after seeing paramedics, firefighters, and others jumping ship. They want to give all county employees a 4.25% raise.
Well, where does the money come from to solve the problem after the 4%? You spent the growth. You've committed to do it next year. Where does the other money come from?
We still don't have a crystal ball, Commissioner. We still, in October or this time next year, we could fall into a recession. So, we all do the best we can with the data we have. We all see through a dark glass clearly, Commissioners. We really do. We do the best we can with what we have, and we monitor it very, very closely.
Well, some county leaders were pushing for an 8% raise, but the 4.25% is what all agreed that they could afford at this time.
In politics tonight, the latest Vanderbilt University poll contains some interesting numbers regarding some very controversial topics. Get this, it shows that 80% of respondents, so 8 out of 10, support abortion in some cases. They think it should be allowed. Now, 53% of respondents identified as pro-choice. 67%, just so you can keep up with the numbers and helps to see them, support laws to secure guns, and that's both in your home and in your vehicle in our state. However, and this is interesting, only 47% of the people who were surveyed in this most recent Vanderbilt poll say that they support school choice vouchers.
Covering the Capitol tonight, a new report from the Inspector General details the FBI's response to the January 6th riots. Fox 17 News' Kayla Gaskins on Capitol Hill tonight with what we're learning from that report.
The FBI had 26 confidential sources present on the ground for the January 6th riot at the Capitol. The long-awaited Justice Department Inspector General report on how the FBI handled these informants finally published.
In some ways, it raises more questions than answers. There's going to be a lot of concern as to what these sources were doing there.
Only 3 of the 26 were told by the FBI to be there. 23 others went on their own. The IG report also revealing many of these FBI sources broke the law that day. 4 entering the Capitol building, 13 others went into restricted areas. The FBI did not give them permission to do so. The report concludes the FBI did not have any undercover agents on the ground.
Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that
something lawmakers previously pressed FBI Director Christopher Wray on? Wray told lawmakers he did not believe so. The FBI director, however, dodged questions about informants.
I'm not going to get into where we have or have not used confidential human sources. I can tell you that if you are asking if the violence at the Capitol on January 6th was part of some operation orchestrated by FBI sources or agents, the answer is no.
These 26 confidential sources are people who belonged to groups like the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers and became paid FBI informants while still remaining part of those groups.
The truth
script is confidential human source is a fancy name for spy. There were 26 of them here on January 6, 2021. 4 of them entered the Capitol.
None of the informants who broke the law were prosecuted, unlike hundreds of others.
And one of the things we've been concerned about all along is this unequal application of the law.
According to the report, one of these individuals warned the FBI there could be unplanned violent activity on January 6th. Another had concerns for the safety of members of Congress.
This report, published the day after FBI Director Christopher Wray announced he would step down before Trump takes office again. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
Well, this evening looking a little on the cool side with temperatures dropping back into the upper 30s. Not stopping folks from heading downtown on Broadway, starting to look a little more lively. Love the Christmas tree up there at the church. I think that's what it is. But we are looking pretty busy here on this Friday night. And as we head into tomorrow, we do expect a little bit warmer conditions as temperatures climb close to 60 here in Nashville. And outside of city centers, Lebanon around 59, Murfreesboro 58, and looking at Clarksville around 57 degrees. Even Cookeville and Crossville sitting in the mid to lower 50s for tomorrow. Increasing clouds throughout the morning hours will keep skies mostly cloudy for much of the day, with the rain arriving later in the afternoon. In addition to that, the potential for breezy winds. It'll pick up as that front, which will come in late Saturday night, moves closer to Middle Tennessee. Gusty winds up to 25 miles per hour possible, all coming in out of the south. We'll talk more about the forecast for the next couple of weeks. That's coming up.
Just ahead, red zone struggles, what the Titans need to do to get more points on the board.
And Christmas coming early for hundreds of children in Middle Tennessee. How a local business is giving back.
The Tennessee Titans are officially eliminated from playoff contention. So when they host the Cincinnati Bengals this weekend, they're essentially playing for 2 things. 1, pride, and 2, to be spoiler to the Bengals' playoff hopes. Now, in order to do that and pull off the upset, the Titans need to score points, which has been difficult for this team this season. Out of their 13 games, only 2 times have the Titans scored more than 17 points. The team has also struggled all this season. It's scoring in the second half, as well as in the red zone. Titans rank near the bottom in red zone percentage scoring, and just last week, they made 2 trips to the end zone against the Jaguars, came up empty-handed both times.
First and foremost, getting down there. I mean, we haven't had many opportunities, but second, at least personally speaking, like just knowing that a lot of the times it's, only one person's going to be open, and you got to know, the different looks that can potentially get you to that person a little earlier. We know that we have the plays and the players to put the ball in the end zone. We just got to do it more consistently.
Couple key players for the Titans already questionable going into Sunday's game. Running back Tony Pollard dealing with an ankle injury. He was limited at practice today. Also, cornerback Roger McCrary dealing with a shoulder injury and was limited. They are both questionable, along with tackle Jalen Duncan and linebackers Jerome Baker and Otis Reese. Well, it took nearly 2 weeks, but the Nashville Predators finally got a win in the month of December. The Preds taking on the Dallas Stars last night, where they were able to snap their franchise record 8 games.
I think as a group, we want to be harder to play against and kind of consistent with that. And as a group, we were. After obviously sitting out for a few games, you kind of take for granted how lucky you are just to play the game. And so it's kind of, I think, a nice.
Watch that game right here on Fox 17, 4:30. Tip-off. Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Just ahead, family bonding while hitting the books, the special milestone for a mid-state mom and her son.
And expert advice to avoid letting the hurried holiday season impact your mental health.
And coming up, we'll talk more about the football forecast for Sunday. Maybe a chance of rain that we need to dodge. We'll have that in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Well, Well, a mother and a son receiving their college diplomas together.
This is fun. They both graduated from Austin Peay State University up in Clarksville today. Dr. Deborah Hollinsworth, the mom, received her doctorate of education degree, while her son John earned his bachelor's degree in business marketing. This mother and son duo says they learned more about themselves and each other and strengthened their bond by essentially going through college courses at the same time. Congratulations to both of you tonight.
Well, in your community, hundreds of students at Park Avenue Elementary in Sylvan Heights getting new shoes for Christmas thanks to Genesco employees. The footwear giant based in Nashville fit 330 students for 2 new pairs of shoes each, and they also got socks. This is the 35th year the company has hosted this Cold Feet Warm Shoes program.
That's nice. All right, looking at the Sunday morning now in Nashville in Focus. This week, the topics for our panel will include the Republicans' new school voucher bill that state lawmakers will take up when they reconvene next month. The bill on the table is similar to the one that failed to pass by the legislators last year. Notable changes, though, include a $2,000 one-time bonus for every public school teacher in Tennessee. This legislation comes, though, as a new Vanderbilt poll we told you about a moment ago shows only 47% of Tennesseans support vouchers allowing public money to be used like this for private tuition.
Most of the rural counties don't have any private schools.
Right.
So if I'm a rural Republican legislator, I'm going to vote for something that takes money away from my public school system, antagonizes the public school teachers, and there's no private school to send these kids to. So it's a bad bet for them.
Other topics on Sunday will include foot dragging on the Nashville Fairgrounds racetrack contract, which has been sitting around for 2 years, and a bill to repeal the Tennessee state sales tax on food. That's Nashville in Focus, Sunday morning at 6:30.
Well, again, tomorrow morning will be the time to be out and about before most of the rain arrives. And really, midday, not looking too bad. We'll start to see a few of those late showers or showers moving in late in the day. But it should be light to begin with here. So morning hours, again, are going to be just fine, just chilly temperatures in those upper 30s. Rain chances are going to be plentiful over the next 7 days, which is good because we still are dealing with a drought across much of Middle Tennessee. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we've got 2 systems that are moving in. So the one for Saturday night into Sunday, and then on the heels of that, another one for Monday afternoon into early Tuesday, but much of Tuesday will be dry. As we get into Wednesday and Thursday, another chance for rain expected to arrive for us. So again, plenty of opportunities here for some showers. We walk you through again what we can expect through this weekend here. Big storm system coming in out of the Central Plains. Quite warm for us, so no question on what kind of precip we're going to be dealing with, and it will be rain. Notice, too, this is Sunday 6 a.m., how light it is in intensity, and you can tell the difference in intensity due to these darker green colors here. The other colors are winter precip, but we're not going to be dealing with that. So these lighter green colors indicate lighter rain. That'll continue off and on through Sunday evening into early Monday morning. And here on the heels of that first one is the second system that comes in for Monday morning. Monday midday, looking at showers and a few rumbles of thunder. I would not discount that, as temperatures for Monday look to be in the mid-60s. The overall severe weather threat, though, remains low for us, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have a few thunderstorms in the mix. As we go through Monday night, early Tuesday, you can see the rain clears and we're left with dry conditions for much of the day on Tuesday. With that said, it does look like the chance for rain will be with us for the entire game during the Titans game as they take on the Bengals here. A chance for showers at kickoff through about halftime, looking at temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. And those showers, it'll continue to be possible for us. 8 days, by the way, until the first day of winter, which will be next Saturday. So a week from tomorrow on the 21st. Taking a look at the outlook here between the 19th and the 23rd. So getting closer to Christmas. Looks like the trend is showing below average conditions as far as temperatures go, possibly below average conditions as far as precip goes. Still some time to iron out the details, but you can see on the tail end of the forecast there, much cooler air coming in by Thursday and Friday.
Well, do you need a silent night this holiday season? How to avoid being overwhelmed by all those holiday to-do lists?
And a mid-state Christmas tradition, what you can expect from Dickens of a Christmas this year in downtown Franklin, and how to avoid parking problems. In health news tonight, the holiday hustle can really stress some people out, leading to everything from depression to digestive problems.
Fox 17 News medical reporter Barbara Moore shows us how to beat the holiday blues and find a little peace.
There are some recent surveys that show about 41% of Americans report that they have increased stress during the holidays compared to other times a year.
Dr. Brandon Gaudiano is a clinical psychologist and researcher at Brown-affiliated Butler Hospital in Providence.
A lot of people have their full-time job, and during the holidays, you're adding like an extra part-time job with all the things that you're doing.
Dr. Gaudiano says, first things first, manage your expectations.
It's because often people have unrealistic expectations during the holidays. They take on too much. You know, one of the tips that I tell people is that if you know that you tend to bite off more than you can chew, write down a list of what you have to do, and then consciously choose a few things to take off the list.
Know that gifts don't always come in packages.
Time is also really important, right? So I think a lot of times people appreciate time sometimes more than actual presents. So I think thinking about other ways of giving other than gifts in terms of your time, in terms of your support.
One other thing.
Remembering to kind of be present in the moment and really appreciate what's going on. Often we're thinking of the past, we're thinking a lot of the future, we're not really paying attention to what we're doing. And if you can focus more on the sights, sounds, and experiences in the present, get off of autopilot, and really get into those holiday traditions and experiences that you're having, then you'll be able to create more lasting memories that you'll appreciate down the road.
Dr. Gaudiano says support from loved ones is always a good idea, but if the stress, anxiety, or depression is persistent, you might want to reach out to a professional. I'm medical reporter Barbara Morse.
An early Christmas at Vanderbilt, how Santa put a smile on patients who were stuck in the hospital just days before Christmas.
And some fun for the whole family this weekend in Franklin. Where to park for Dickens of a Christmas.